This is Michael Popok. You're already here on the new Legal AF YouTube channel. Take a minute and free subscribe. Help us get to 200,000 by the weekend. I'm curating this channel at the intersection of law and politics, bringing you what you have expected and what you need at that intersection without blowing smoke or sunshine, in collaboration with who else? The Midas Touch Network. Let's talk about a new bombshell report by Bob Woodward. Who else? He of Watergate fame. He's written 4 books already since Donald Trump left office. And in his newest one, War, he shows us what a close and personal bromance exists, as we've always suspected, between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. So close that Vladimir Putin effectively served as Donald Trump's campaign manager, telling him not to reveal the closeness of the relationship because it would do harm to Donald Trump. Is there any wonder that Putin wants to try to get Donald Trump elected president? Donald Trump likes to say, well, Russia collusion doesn't exist. Sure it does. The Russians want Donald Trump to be president. He undermines the strength of America. Donald Trump puts Americans at each other's throats. He sets their teeth on edge, and he makes policy decisions that are in support of Putin and against Ukraine. Of course he wants. If there was only one candidate and you're Putin, who would you rather have? Kamala Harris, who's in favor of the sovereignty of Ukraine, or Donald Trump, who wants to have Zelensky agree to give up 40% of Ukraine in order to keep his hide, in order to keep the rest of his country, throwing away sovereignty, NATO alliances along the way. Now we have reporting that Donald Trump took valuable and scarce COVID tests during the height of COVID, and rather than using them in America for America's interest, he secretly sent them to Putin. He gave Putin our scarce sourced supply of COVID tests. It was such a breach of diplomacy, such a breach of national security, to give the leader of our arch enemy the ability to test. So apparently the reporting in Bob Woodward's book is that Putin, like Donald Trump, was a germaphobe. Now, Donald Trump almost died from COVID, except he got the stuff that he got the fix and the drugs that the rest of Americans couldn't get, right? All that cocktail that he was given at Walter Reed Hospital, when he was airlifted out and almost died. Well, Putin was equally scared of dying. Even though he runs around on a horse, bare-chested, he doesn't want to die, and he wanted those COVID tests. And Donald Trump looked around and said, I got them. I'll send them over to you. I mean, this was even Putin realized that this would be devastating if that news had gotten out at the time. And the quote in War is that Putin told Trump, for your purposes, because you'll get in trouble, don't let people know that we talk like this, and don't let people know you sent me anything. How can you trust Donald Trump to be tough against Putin when he's on basically a dinner date over a romantic bottle of wine and COVID tests with Putin? I mean, they say, how can we trust this man to protect our national security interests when he tried to steal top secret classified documents through Mar-a-Lago? That's why over 200 national security Republican leaders at every level, from former secretaries of state to heads of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, have all come out, not only against Donald Trump as a threat to national security, but for Kamala Harris. There's a reason for it. Why there's this groundswell of Republican leaders for Kamala Harris. Why Judge Ludig, who's going to be my guest on a new interview right here on Legal AF MTN on Friday, Judge Ludig, who's on the Mount Rushmore of Federalist Society conservative judges, who helped Mike Pence make the right decision and do the right thing and certify the election on Jan 6th. Why he said that Donald Trump is a threat to our national security, our rule of law, that there's only one party in this two-party system that can be trusted with protecting our ideals, and that's the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris. And now we've got the proof positive, right? We've got his fingers in the pie. Donald Trump's, or at least he's in Putin's pie. Now look, there's other reporting within War. Bob Woodward's book, he's the one that broke the Watergate scandal. He's also on record as saying that Donald Trump is a bigger threat to democracy and a bigger threat to our security and bigger criminal than Richard Nixon. And that's saying something coming from Bob Woodward. He also said that he has an unreliable and informant information that in early 2024, Donald Trump threw out one of his aides to have a secret phone call with Putin. We don't know the topic, but doesn't that put a chill down your spine that Donald Trump's having secret phone calls he doesn't even want his aides to hear at Mar-a-Lago in early 2024? In fact, this aide said that that at least 7 such phone calls between Trump and Putin since 2021. I wonder what they're talking about. Maybe undermining American foreign policy, maybe undermining the NATO alliance, maybe undermining Zelensky and his attempt to keep his democracy sovereign and independent from the clutches of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is running a shadow foreign policy in violation of our Constitution, and it is treasonous and it is traitorous. You're not allowed to have a side biz running foreign policy counter to American interests. What are they talking about? Hey, Vlad, how's the weather? Vlad, how's any new horseback riding stories to tell me? No. And he's throwing people out from the room to hear them? All I needed to hear was that Donald Trump sent a scarce national security tests related to COVID at the time to what's supposed to be our arch enemy. Can you imagine Kennedy sending it to Khrushchev? Any kind of aid? Can you imagine it? Or any of our Nixon? I mean, could you imagine any of them? No, but Donald Trump thinks it's okay. He thinks that Putin's his golf buddy. But Putin is smarter than Trump. That's what we also learned. Putin's telling Trump, let me be your campaign manager. Don't let anybody know about this. Obviously, don't let anybody know about this. Let me read to you from a couple of things that came out of this particular book and this hot take. It says that Putin, according to the book, told Trump, I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. He's smarter. He's basically the campaign manager and running for election. I think don't see this as Trump 2. See this as Putin 1 if Trump, Roman numeral 1 if Trump gets in. 4 years later, apparently, the personal relationship between the two men appears to have persisted. Woodward reports, this is from the Washington Post, as the Trump campaigns to return to the White House in early 2024, he held a secret phone call with Putin, so secret he didn't want his own people to know about it. Now, of course, Stephen Chung, he's like AI. Is he real, the spokesperson? I've never really seen him in real life. And when I see him in real life, actually, he looks like he's AI. But he said, quote, none of these made up stories by Bob Woodward are true. His book belongs either in the bargain bin of the fiction section of a discount bookstore or to be used as toilet paper. Come on. You can say a lot about Bob Woodward, but his investigative reporting, his sourcing is dead on accurate and always has been. And that's why he's won Pulitzer Prize after Pulitzer Prize. And that's why, he was the longtime editor of the Washington Post for a reason. We'll continue to follow it all. You're already here. All you got to do is help us get the 200,000 subscribers, and that helps you because it signals to the gods and to me and the algorithmic gods that you want more of this content at the intersection of law and politics. We have great new contributors here on Legal AF MTN in collaboration with Midas Touch Network. We've got Court Accountability Action, an investigative body and a group that's dedicated to exposing corruption at federal courts all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. They're on here. They have their own playlist. We're doing hot takes. They're doing hot takes. They're doing investigative reporting right here, exclusively on Legal AF MTN. And all your other contributors that you know and love from law and politics from the Midas Touch universe are over here as well. Karen Friedman McNiffalo, Dina Dahl, and me, we're doing a show called Unprecedented about what else? The United States Supreme Court once a week to cover now that the term is open and they're already screwing with a woman's right to choose and undermining a woman's first-class citizenship in America. That's already started on the first day of the new term. We break it all down on Unprecedented. I'm breathless for a reason. I'm running 100 miles an hour to build this channel for you and with you. I'll do my part. I'll curate it. I'll be the executive producer. And all I ask for you to do is free subscribe and leave comments and let's have a dialogue. So until my next hot take, until my next exclusive content on Legal AF MTN, this is Michael Popok and I am reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.